Hi, Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High God. Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahushai Ba'Hashem, Echad Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops. A great millstone. I'm your brother, Rabbi Knapp. Coming out with a lesson, Lord's will. This is edifying to the Lord's elect. I'm just checking my sound, make sure that's up. What am I on? SyriaLiveUAMap.com. This shows you different wars that are going on. You can check Syria. You know, they just bombed Syria, so I want to see the last 13 hours. That gives you some of the more relevant news pertaining to what's going on in that area. It says, Syrian Foreign Minister, the Israeli army continues as incursions and airstrikes on Syrian territory. As a matter of fact, news Syria. U.S. strikes 30 ISIS targets in Syria as it continues relentless military pressure. So anything going on in the Middle East, hey, this is good news, okay? 10 U.S. military strikes in Syria hit more than 30 Islamic State targets in Syria earlier this month as it continues relentless military pressure on the terrorist network there, U.S. Central Command announced Saturday. So, damn, earlier the month, I think some dude popped up, killed 3 Americans. They still bombing them, man. CENTCOM, which oversees U.S. military operations in the Middle East, said U.S. forces hit ISIS infrastructures and weapons storage targets between February 3rd and February 12th. The strikes were part of Operation Hawkeye Strike, which was launched in retaliation for an ISIS ambush that killed Sergeant Edgar Bryan, Sergeant William Nathaniel Howard, and an interpreter in Palmyra, Syria on December 13th. President Duck vowed very serious retaliation in a True Social post after the ambush. Okay, so they're fighting ISIS targets in Syria. We know that Foreign Minister Assad al-Shabani, Syrians are concerned about Israel's aggressive practices, ground incursions, and arrest of Israeli citizens. Israel continues to carry out raids on Syrian territory. Negotiations with Israel do not mean imposing its will in southern Syria, but rather preventing it from interfering in the region. So, okay. So what does that tell you? Isaiah 40, Jeremiah, Salakia. Jeremiah 49:20. So Israel's doing their thing, man. Southern border into Syria, keep doing a good job, man. Get your asses over there. And America's bombing in that area, and then they're at the border. I just read something. I was reading this. As a matter of fact, where'd I just put it? Whoa. Where did I just put it? Oh, let's find out. Israel chemicals Salva. I think I read it in WION. Lebanon. That's February 4th. Lebanon and Syria claim Israel is using chemicals along border areas. Lebanon and Syria. There's a problem with your network. Please check your network connection and try again. Of course, Lebanon and Syria have accused Israel of using crop-damaging chemicals along border regions, alleging environmental harm and economic losses for farmers in affected areas. So you talk about the borders of Lebanon and Syria. So there's a lot going on in that region. Syrian Foreign Minister, we do not want the return of expatriate Syrians in a haphazard and emotional manner, but rather a sustainable return. Lifting sanctions has opened the doors to development, but it only the beginning. Just reading some of the headlines over there. Israeli attacks threaten the stability and peace of mind of Syrians. So, all these attacks, these guns, that's what I'm looking for. Look for the guns. Let me click this. Does this come up? Syrian news agency 3 days ago, the Israeli army withdraws from the village of Euphania in the Quintiria countryside hours after its incursion and the firing of flares. Airstrike by coalition aircraft that targeted a site near the Jizil area in Palmyra Desert on Tuesday. So there's a lot of war going on. Let's see what's going on in Iran. I know there's protests. What's going on in Iran? Am I looking at Iran? Okay. What's this? The Duck administration covertly sent about 6,000 Starlink satellite internet terminals into Iran after Tehran crushed nationwide protests and cut internet access. So it's just different things. And I don't see too many wars over there, but I do want to go over there real quick and see, because there's a bunch of protests. News, Iran. Come on, I want to see some escalation. I want to see, this is what I'm looking for, okay? Anti-Iran regime protests. As a matter of fact, let's read it right here. WION, it says, we will go full force. Duck and not a Jew agree to ramp up maximum pressure on Iran's oil. Show the full article. It says U.S. President Donald Duck and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Not a Jew have reportedly agreed to intensify economic pressure on Iran to force Tehran to give up its nuclear program and also reduce its oil sales to China. He just added more shit. Now it's reduced the oil sales. Yesterday I was reading, there was something about ballistic missiles. They already agreed to dilute their missiles, and it's nothing. They just gonna go in there. Now they're talking regime change, and all these protests and shit are up there. This comes after the two leaders held a meeting in Washington on Wednesday, February 11th, to discuss Iran. And then after they have this meeting, all of a sudden all these protests are starting to kick off. I didn't even grab my precept. Yeah, Iran, global protests against Iran government draw massive crowds in Germany and in Canada. Please, man. Damn Edomites. Anyways, that brings me to second Esdras, the 9th chapter. Second Esdras 9:1, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before. So let's look up measure the time diligently. We know, let's look at this word diligently. In a way that shows care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. I don't know what this word means.
Conscientiousness.
Conscientiousness. The quality of wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly. So we looking these things up. That's diligence. Okay, you're doing it well and thoroughly. If you're not doing it well and thoroughly, you're not diligent. Let me get this in the book of Jeremiah 49:20. Going into those, those different chemicals they're using at the border of Syria. They're doing little incursions in Syria at the southern border. Meanwhile, you got America doing a 30-base bombing campaign over there. So there's wars kicking off over there. And who does all these wars kick off? Who does it benefit? Who benefits from the destruction that's going on in Syria? Does it benefit you, so-called Americans? Not so-called Americans, the American people. No, it doesn't benefit you at all. Okay, Jeremiah 49:20 in the KJV. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom and his purposes, that he have purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So the little small hat is going to bring Pinky into war. And that's a spirit they even call him Pinky. Pinky is a derivative of red, so they know what the hell's going on here. Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore hear the plans that the Lord has drawn up against Babylon, and the strategies he has devised against the land of the Chaldeans. So the land of the Chaldeans. It's also talking about America. But the Chaldeans are the elites of Americans. And who's would you start to see who those elites are? Okay, and they all wear little hats. Surely the little ones of the flock will be dragged away. Certainly their pasture will be made desolate because of them. Jeremiah 50 and 45 is basically saying the same thing as Jeremiah 50 and 45 is saying the same thing as Jeremiah 49 and 20. I don't know what translation they're using here. I'm just seeing some of their cross-referenced precepts. The Lord of hosts has sworn, Isaiah 14 and 24, surely I have planned, so will it be. As I have purposed, so will it stand. I will break Assyria in my land. I will trample him on my mountain. His yoke will be taken off my people, and his burden removed from their shoulders. This is the plan devised for the whole earth, and this is the hand stretched out over all nations. So the Lord's going to destroy the counsel of the wicked. As a matter of fact, we should jump over to Job 18 and 5 really quick, because that's what's going on here, man. Job 18 verse 5. Job 18 verse 5 in the KJV. Yea, the light of the wicked shall be put out, and the spark of his fire shall not shine. So let's see what this is talking about. It's ultimately that, the light is the wisdom, it's the knowledge, it's the glory. Okay, it's everything that has to do with your power. This is why the light of the wicked is being put out. Their light is going into their wisdom. Okay, at one point you wanted to come here and learn everything you could about their schools. You want to go to school here, you wanted to learn. You sent your kids here from foreign countries so they can learn. But now that light's being put out because you're starting to see that it's corrupt and it's wicked. It's evil. So now you're like, you know what? I don't even want you to go there anymore. And that also pertains to the fact that they're not being looked in the light of being liberal. They're not that, which is going into their nobility. They're not looking as noble as they used to. Now they look like demons from another planet. They look like these people are not even human. They're beasts. Okay, but it's not because they're actually beasts. It's just the fact that they don't operate under the laws, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. They're showing you that they're really just heathen. And they're showing you that they're the worst of the heathen. Because you look at these other nations, you think, you kind of can look down and look at the Chinese man. He eats everything in the sea. He's like you think, we look at that like that's, even the modern day American will look at that and say that's nasty. They look at the East Indian man and see him cooking pot, street culture food. You're like, why the hell is he, what the hell is wrong with these people, You might look at so-called Japanese man, he eating a damn squid's tentacle in his soup, just weird shit. But out of all of them, Esau's the worst. It's just that Esau, he does things in the dark. He'll do things, out of sight. And then he'll come out and act like he better than you and, wear a suit and a tie, and you think, look how noble this man is. But the Lord already exposed this nigga, and that's why you're getting things like the Epstein files, and this is a beautiful thing. Because the Lord already been exposed them through the Bible. So I already understand that this nigga will eat you. Okay? I already know. So I'm aware of how evil these people actually are, and I'm blowing a trumpet as loud as I can for you other believers out there not to be in that weak ass mindset that this devil has been keeping you in, man. Because the time is getting, I know a lot of things I say it's if you got virgin ears or weak ears, it could be a lot. You might come across as, oh, this dude's racist or something, but this is gonna be information that could save your life, man, in these last days and get you to repent. Because pulling somebody out of the fire it's a violent thing, man. You know, people got weak. They're soft, and it's because of the world, man. The world make you soft and weak. But the times that are coming, man, you gotta be bold. You gotta be strong. You gotta know who your power is in these last days. Okay. Indeed, the lamp of the wicked is extinguished. This phrase suggests the certainty of the downfall of the wicked, which is Esau, according to Malachi 1 and 4. And Job 9 and 24, 1 Maccabees 1 verse 9. So these are precepts that show who the wicked is. In biblical times, a lamp was a common household item symbolizing life, guidance, and prosperity. And that's what America once was, you know. So that's what's starting to be turned off, especially the job losses, you know, the uprising of the people, the things that are going on in different countries, the people that they're sending your money to support. So even from within, you know, people are not liking what they're about. The extinguishing of a lamp signifies the end of these blessings. So the end of their blessing is, yeah, they're coming to an end using that sword. That's Esau's blessing. Now he's starting to use that sword again. Him blowing dirty targets up in Syria, blowing up nuclear sites in Iran, blowing shit up. That's his blessing, according to Genesis the 27th chapter. This imagery, I think Genesis 27, like 40, 41, somewhere around 38 to like 41. This imagery is consistent with other scriptures such as Proverbs 13 and 9, which states the light of the righteous rejoices, but the lamp of the wicked will be put out. So the light of the righteous rejoices, but Esau's not righteous. What makes you righteous? Establishing the law. Ultimately, the Lord makes you righteous. You gotta be an Israelite, number one. But being obedient, it's not just being an Israelite, but being obedient to the Lord is what these are forms of righteousness. But ultimately, our righteousness is of the Lord. Okay, but the lamp of the wicked will be put out. The use of lamp here can also be seen as a metaphor for the life and influence of a person. The idea that the wicked will face inevitable judgment is a recurring theme throughout the Bible, emphasizing God's justice. That's why the Lord is showing you who the wicked is. Malachi, the 3rd chapter, goes into that. So you can discern between those who serve the Lord and those who serve them not. Now that's within Israel, but the discernment is, it should be speaking up, man, especially some of these heathen nations, all the people who participate in the downfall of Israel. You know, it shows you these different nations, they pander to white people to make them feel good. You know, their jokes. I was watching some Chinese man crack jokes about black people. He probably ain't even a racist, but that's what pays. He said he's getting $300,000 a year. Why would he stop? So Esau puts that vibration on the rest of the heathen. So it's not, you know, the rest of you heathen too. We're gonna whip your backs too. Don't worry. You're definitely gonna be punished. It tells you in Matthew 12 and 36. So we're gonna kick your ass too. So we're not worried about Moab. Go get your money, Moab. You know, crack all the jokes you can, and we're gonna crack the whip as much as we can on your back when we get into the kingdom. So enjoy that. Okay, but it all trickles down from the top. So Esau panders to that. You can go to these small towns and he'll entertain that bullshit. And this is what makes them happy behind closed doors. So you got to know how this world works, man. It's all off the death, and you probably celebrated. Oh, Valentine's Day is over. The death of Christians. You know, I was going into some history about that. I was reading about it. Now it says some Catholic dude named Saint Valentine. I don't believe in anything that comes out of the Catholic Church. They don't know a damn thing. Okay, they're a bunch of devils too, bunch of demons, but pedophiles too. I want to see the list for them motherfuckers too. They probably got a list too. Okay, so you know, we ain't believing anything that comes out of that. That's just an abomination. That's the false prophet. You need to know what the scriptures say about them, man. But that light is being turned out. You know, I still haven't seen it. What's up with the Pope, man? Let me see what's up with this Pope. News. Let's see what's up with the Pope since I bring talking about the church. Let's see what he talked. Lent, fast from words that hurt others, disarm language, avoid. So this dude's weak, soft. Steve Bannon courted Epstein in his efforts to take down Pope Francis. Who gives? Pope delivers pointed message after U.S. snub. Chicago-born Pope Leo IV. Actually 10 plus 1 is 11. Plus 5, or 5 minus 1 is 14. Pope Leo XIV encouraged his flock to refrain from using harsh words against others ahead of Lent. Oh, so they're going to be doing, I think that's ashes on your forehead. The Pope's comments, who cares about that, man? What does it tell you to do that in the Bible? You people killed the Lord. All right? Go to the Roman Catholic Church to learn about the Lord. You're a damn fool. What else did I want to read? I'll finish this. The flame of his fire does not glow. The flame represents vitality. As well, the idea of that the wicked will face inevitable judgment is a recurring theme throughout the Bible, emphasizing God's justice. That's what he should be talking about. He ain't talking about Babylon. That's what the Pope should be talking about. He ain't talking about none of these things. The flame of his fire does not glow. The flame represents vitality, strength, and presence. In ancient cultures, fire was essential for survival, providing warmth, light, and ability to cook food. The absence of a glowing flame indicates a loss of these essential elements, symbolizing the complete removal of the wicked's power and influence. That's what the light of the wicked, that's what it's going into. It's power and influence over people. Okay, this can be connected to the broader biblical narrative of divine retribution, where the wicked are often depicted as ultimately powerless against God's will. And because they're just tools that the Lord's using to punish the nation of Israel, and then he's going to turn around and destroy them. The imagery of a dimmed or extinguished flame can also be seen in Isaiah 43 and 17, where God extinguishes the enemies of Israel, and that's what he's going to do with them. This phrase underscores the transient nature of the wicked's prosperity and the ultimate triumph of divine justice. So let's go to Isaiah 43 and 17, see what that's talking about. But it does match up with, we know that the triumph of the wicked is short when you read that, Job 20, but let me see what this precept is talking about. Isaiah 43, Babylon to be destroyed. I'll start at 14. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. For your sake I have sent to Babylon and have brought down all their nobles and the Chaldeans whose cry is in the ships. Woo! Let me see what this is talking about. Isaiah 43, 14. Yeah, they're nobles, man. He's taking them down. And he's bringing up his elect. So this is, as they fall, we go up. So more people, more evidence is coming out, more lies, more people not trusting. This is good. This is great. This is great for me. All praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai for exposing these nasty ass devils. Thus says the Lord, your Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel, for your sake. This phrase indicates that God's actions are motivated by his love and commitment to his people, who are the Israelites. It reflects the convenient covenant relationship between God and Israel, where God acts on behalf of his people for their ultimate good and his glory. Okay, so yeah, the Lord's going to get glorified by the nation of Israel. He doesn't do, the heathen don't glorify the Lord. If you haven't noticed that. Once you have understanding, you realize they don't glorify the Lord. They don't believe in the Lord. Okay, they all trust in Esau. I will send to Babylon. Babylon was a major empire and a symbol of human pride in opposition to God, but Babylon's talking about America, according to Revelation 17 and 18. This phrase suggests God's sovereignty over nations, as he can send to Babylon, indicating his control over historical events. It also foreshadows the eventual fall of Babylon, which is prophesied in Isaiah and fulfilled in history. That's right. Well, it's not fulfilled in history. Babylon was taken out in Daniel the 5th chapter, ultimately starting with the Medes and the Persians. okay, which was a surgical strike. But when you read Revelation 17 and 18, 17, it tells you that the 10 horns and the beast shall hate the whore and burn her with fire. That never happened in Babylon. You go to Revelation 18, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down. So the Lord is going to be taking out Babylon. He's the great millstone. He's that rock that is going to smite the toes, which is the end of this kingdom. Okay, the Lord never returned, and he's coming in the day to destroy Babylon, right? And bring them as fugitives. This indicates a reversal of fortunes for the Babylonians who were once conquerors but will become fugitives. It reflects the biblical theme of divine justice where the proud and oppressive are brought low. This also connects to the broader biblical narrative of God's humbling the proud and exalting the humble, just like it says in Revelation 13, 9 and 10. Okay, that, he that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. He that leadeth into captivity must go into captivity. I'm saying that all messed up, but that's that retribution. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. This is what we're waiting for. Even the Chaldeans were a dominant group within Babylon. And that dominant group, imagine a dominant group within America. Who comes to mind? Okay, Amalek, known for their wisdom in astrology. Mentioning them specifically highlights the comprehensive nature of God's judgment against Babylon. It also serves as a reminder of the futility of human wisdom and power against God's purposes. So, there you go. It's the futility of human wisdom and power against God's purposes. So the things that they think is going to establish their kingdom is actually going to bring it to an end. Okay, everything that they're doing is as hard as it is to grasp. It's all coming to an end. I was just thinking about that today with all the different LGBTQ laws that were passed. At one point you do videos, you're like pointing it out. This is wicked as hell, but then you're like, this is good too, because that means the Lord's giving you over to a reprobate spirit to destroy yourself. He's not making you prosper by breaking the law. So all these things, even the protesting and all of it is culminating to destroy this place. So whatever, it's better to look at it with wisdom. It's the Lord working. Okay, in the ships in which they rejoice. This phrase suggests that very means of their pride and security, their ships will become their means of escape as fugitives. It illustrates the biblical principle that what people trust in apart from God can become their downfall. This can be seen as a type of Hamashiach or Christ, where Jesus, through his death and resurrection, turns the instruments of human pride and sin into means of salvation. I don't know what that's talking about, but in the ships in which they rejoice. He just sent the ship to Iran. I think he backed out the Abraham Lincoln. That's what it said. But anyways, Isaiah 43 and verse 15, I am the Lord, your Holy One, the Creator of Israel, your King. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, which maketh a way in the sea, and a path in the mighty waters, which bringeth forth the chariot and horse, the army and the power. They shall lie down together. They shall not rise. They are extinct. They are quenched as a tow. Ooh, so the tow is what you use to light like a candle, that little... I think that's what it is. Let me look this up real quick. I might be lying. Flax as wick for lamp. That's right. So he gonna light that wick. Quenched as a tow. Going back to putting your light out. Isaiah 43 and 18. Remember ye not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. And that's what he's doing now. He's making a way in the wilderness. We're in the wilderness here in America. We're just like when we left Egypt, we went to the wilderness to get to the promised land. Okay, we're in that same process of leaving captivity. We're in the wilderness now, not fully yet. When Jacob's trouble comes, that's when things are going to happen. You know, what type of things were we dealing with in the wilderness? Lord was testing us in the wilderness. Okay, so that test, Jacob's troubles, is likened unto a test of your faith. Okay, you got to have a certain amount of faith. You got to believe the report. You can't, these different things that Israel went through after the exodus of Egypt showed you the type of mindset people are going to have. You got to be prepared for these things. A lot of non believers, a lot of lack of faith. You know, when you read, I believe, Numbers, the 14th chapter, if I'm not lying, kind of all over the place. But, you know, you look at the history and it should teach you the same thing's going to happen. Numbers 14, the people rebel. You don't want to be rebelling against the Lord. Okay. Moses pleads for the people. So, you know, you're going to need a man of the Lord. If it wasn't for Moses, man, Moses was pretty much the hedge to the nation of Israel. The Lord was going to put them to death. Let's read it in Numbers 14 and 11. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the signs which I have showed among them. And same thing now. He's got raised up prophets telling you you're Israel, and people are mocking against it. I was looking at some other brother's video. Brother in, I believe he's in Trinidad. We was on the highways and hedges. I'm looking at his comment board. This brother's in Trinidad by himself, saying the same thing we're saying over here in the States. That's a miracle within itself. You know, out of everyone over there in Trinidad, the Lord still raised up a prophet over there, and you got people on the comment board talking shit. Oh well, you know, you Israelites are gonna this, that, and the third. Like, you sound stupid as hell. People who have no understanding. Numbers 14 and 12. I will smite them with the pestilence and disinherit them, and will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they. Yeah, so, and that's exactly what he's going to do in this time. He's going to put y'all to death, and he's going to get his elect, and he's going to rebuild the nation through them. And Moses said unto the Lord, then the Egyptians shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people in thy might from among them. Yeah, so he was communicating with the Lord to not put Israel to death because of the Egyptians, like pretty much for your name's sake. Now the Egyptians were here and like, look at their God couldn't even save them. He brought them out of Egypt to put them to death. What kind of God is that? You know, then I want to give the Lord any glory. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of this land, for they have heard that thou, Lord, art among this people, that thou, Lord, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standeth over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. So they knew the Lord was with Israel. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because the Lord was not able to bring this people into the land, which is Israel, which he sware unto them, therefore he hath slain them in the wilderness. So, you know, these are examples that we should be learning from, man. The Lord's doing all this for his name's sake. Okay? He's going to get glory by saving the nation of Israel, by exalting them, by bringing them up in the midst of all these stupid ass heathen who talk shit. All of this shit talking, and that's it gives the Lord even more glory. That's why he tells you to be long suffering and endure all of this. Okay, when they see the strangeness of our salvation, they're gonna be condemned in their spirit, and then you get to watch them get burnt. That's beautiful. They're gonna die by thermonuclear missiles. The joke's on them. You know, so crack all the black jokes. There ain't no such thing as black people. You're gonna realize, you're gonna acknowledge us as being the Most High God's kids, and you're gonna pay for it in the kingdom. Numbers 14 verse 17. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Lord be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, the Lord is long suffering and great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression, and by no means clearing the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation. So Moses is using scripture to remind the Lord, you said this, you know, reminded him, you made a covenant with Israel, okay? And he says, pardon, I beseech thee, iniquity of this people according unto the greatness of thy mercy, and as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt, even until now. You know, and then it says the Lord pardons and rebukes. So he didn't put him to death, even though he said he was going to. I'm not going to read the whole chapter. Okay. So we can learn from that. But we're in that wilderness too, going back to Isaiah 43 and 19. I'll read it again. Behold, I will do a new thing. Now it shall spring forth. Shall ye not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. So he's going to make a way for us. We made it through the wilderness. It made it into the land of Canaan and put those heathen to death. But we didn't listen all the way. We was put them all to death, and we didn't. We allowed some to live here and some to be over there. And no, the Lord didn't tell us to do that. He told him to put them all to death. Okay? And when this time comes, hey, the Lord's going to allow us to do what we got to do. And he's going to put the Spirit on us. According to Ezekiel, the 25th chapter. Let's jump over there real quick. This is all from the Lord. Just like he put the Spirit on Esau to conquer and be successful and destroy and all of that. Then he's going to do the same thing with us. Ezekiel 25, verse... I don't even know where to start. I started, I guess, 12. Ezekiel 25. And actually, I just want to get to the point. Verse 14. Ezekiel 25, verse 14. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to my anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh. So he's going to allow us to lay our vengeance upon Edom by my hand of my people Israel. So we're gonna. This is prophecy. Okay, we're gonna get to put our hands on them and do all of it. Smash them up, beat them up, whip them up. So even look at Moab, Philistia. You know, judgment. Ammon. You know. So you can read it for yourself, man. They got judgment coming to them. All right, Isaiah 43. Verse 20, the beasts of the field shall honor me, the dragons of the owls and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers in the desert to give drink to my people, my chosen, which are his elect. Okay. Ultimately, all Israel's chosen. If he chose you to be Israel, you're chosen, but you're going to die according to 2nd Ezra, the 9th chapter, though. Right? With some of us, we're not going to taste of death, according to Mark. Mark 9, I think it says that. Let me jump there real quick. But all these things are happening. I want to look at some more. And he said unto them, Mark 9:1, verily I say unto you that there be some of them that stand here which shall not taste of death till they have seen the kingdom of God come with power. So some of us are already immortal, man. Don't even know it. Isaiah 43 and 21. This people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. And that's what Israel does. We show forth his praise. But the point of this is Isaiah 43 and 14. And have brought down all their nobles. So we're going to, and he's doing that by exposing their ass. Okay. Let me see, read this a little bit. I read that. We agreed that we will go full force with maximum pressure against Iran good. For example, regarding Iranian oil sales to China, a senior U.S. official told Axios. So this is good. Maximum pressure. So, they already destabilized their economy, and that's what brought forth the protests. Now there's more protests in Canada, I read, I believe. More, Everyone's asking for regime change and things like that. Um, where did I put the news? Iran protests today. I want to read some of it. Massive crowd gathers for Iranian Global Day of Action. Protests in downtown LA. Let's see what this is talking about. I heard Canada, and so this is global protests. Let me see, where else? Large group, LA. Thousands rally for regime change in cities around the world. Let's go to the New York Times. Okay. Of course, I can't read it. People protesting the Iranian government gathered near the security conference in Munich, as well as in other cities. More U.S.-Iran talks. Iran. Thousands demonstrate for change in Iran following deadly crackdown. 200,000 people protest against Iran regime as world leaders gather nearby. Let me just read Los Angeles. Give me focus on here. I did see Canada. They had protests in Canada and somewhere else. I forgot where I had that. Downtown Los Angeles, a massive crowd of people gathered for a global day of action. Protests in downtown LA on Saturday in support of the Iranian people's fight for freedom and human rights. Tensions have been high in Iran since violent protests erupted in late December. Let me jump down. Demonstrators are calling for an end to the violence in Iran and a regime change immediately. Okay. So it says today, a national day of action. As you've seen all around the world, there's been heaps of people coming out to protest against a regime that is, for all terms and purposes, for the people of Iran, illegitimate. What? Said protester Sarah Saeed. But the main thing, the most important thing we're here to ask is, if I were to ask President Duck, Senator Rubio, Witkoff, and Kushner, is what do you stand to gain from negotiating with a regime that is by all means illegitimate? What is there to gain for the betterment of the Iranian people since they don't have their representative at the table? And, when you look at oil sales from their last regime change, they said 40% of the oil was going to America. So these people are protesting to go into slavery under Esau. Okay? Every nation just wants to give up their rights to the so-called white man, like to a damn, you don't hear what's going on, the Epstein files and all of that? And that's what you're protesting, to go change a regime in a foreign country? These people are dumb. They're stupid. So they deserve everything that's coming to them. What is there to gain for the United States peace and security and the world? This regime has, by all means, operated in its entirety as a terrorist state. It shoots and kills unarmed civilians who are protesting their basic rights. Really? What about eating babies and drinking blood? You stupid ass heathen. We're frustrated because we had President Duck's promise. President Duck's on the Epstein's list. He said to my people that he will be there for my defenseless people. Yeah, he'll be there for you. Saeed continued, we have reached the point where we need immediate and strategic help. No patriotic human being wants an all-out war, but there are so many strategies to completely annihilate the arteries and the lifelines of this regime that has invested in proxies and militias and destruction all around the world. Yeah, Iran is, they're doing all types of shit all around the world. These people, man. Lord, just wipe them out, please. Baba Shah, the human rights activist news agency, says 7,000 people have been killed by the Iranian regime since December, but others have the count as high as 35,000. What about millions that this damn Edomite done killed? People are full of shit. They got power over the whole world. They're doing the economic sanctions and shit like that. Destroy him. Fuck him. And he just came here on Wednesday, and now all this shit, protest all over the place, man. So Esau turn this shit up on you. This is the maximum pressure against Iran. He just told you. Now look at who's coming out on the street. They manipulate these people's mind. They're beasts. They're stupid. They're stupid people, man. According to the report, more than 80% of Iranian oil exports are sent to China, reducing Beijing's oil purchases from Iran could significantly increase economic pressure on Tehran. The pressure campaign will take place alongside the talks on Iran's nuclear program and ongoing U.S. military buildup in the Middle East if negotiations fail. So, more war. Jeremiah 49:20. Why? Because BB came out here and put that bug into the Duck's ear, and this is all good. This is really good. Early this month, Duck signed an executive order allowing his Secretary of State. I gotta make a name for Marco Rubio. I'll call him. I gotta figure something out for him. The Cuban. What's that? Let me see something real quick. Are there any Cuban cartoon characters? Cuban. Iconic Cuban cartoon. Epidio Valdez. I never heard of him. Created by Juan Pedron, a symbol of Cuban culture. Other examples include propaganda character Cabo Cason and Frank Gastro. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I found this online. This Fortnite boss is the real threat, haunting players across BR matches. Look at this shit, man. It's a damn chariot shooting a laser beam. In short, Epic Games enabled the Dark Harvester. Woo! That's what they called it. Yeah, the harvest is here, man. It's getting close. The Dark Harvester. They called it dark, too. This is Esau putting the truth right in your face, man. Let me grab this in Revelation 16. Is it? Oh, it's Revelation 14. Revelation 14:14. And I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, which is our Lord, Yahushua, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. So the Lord is coming to reap. Okay, like the Grim Reaper. He's got a sharp sickle. He's in a white cloud. Behold, a white cloud, which is the chariot. Okay, Revelation 14:15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe, which is ultimately the elect. Okay, harvest is the end of the world. It's the end of Esau's kingdom. So he's pretty much taking all of that away. Okay. Revelation 14:16. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. So the sickle's going in, I believe, to going into the thermonuclear destruction. But let me check real quick. See what notes I got on Revelation 14:16. Nothing. Revelation 14:17. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. Now that's talking about the elect of Israel. We're likened unto grapes. What's that? Isaiah 65 and 14. Nope. Isaiah 65 and I think it's, I can't remember where it's at. I can't see it. Cluster. Let's see what pops up. Isaiah 65:8. Thus saith the Lord, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and one saith, destroy it not, which are the elect, for a blessing is in it. So will I do for my servants' sakes, that I may not destroy them also. Going back to that cluster. What's that other precept? I think it's 2nd Esdras 9. And let me control F. I think it's in here. Yeah, 2nd Esdras 9. And I'll start at 20. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. Ultimately going to the MOTB. And I saw and spared it greatly, and have kept me a grape of the cluster, and a plant of a great people, which is talking about the elect of Israel. Let the multitude perish then, which is the rest, 2/3, and the rest of you heathen that are over here, which was born in vain. And let my grape be kept in my plant, for with great labor have I made it perfect. So through these different tribulations and different lifetimes, the Lord has made us perfect. Okay, so that's also going into the and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. So just as we're getting more ripe, you know, we're rejecting this world more and more, you know, the wickedness, and we're seeing it more and more. We're just separating ourselves from all of this mess, because this world will turn you into the same thing you hate. Okay, and that's why Esau that's why, like, you know, you work for corporate America. They it's designed to destroy you, to destroy your spirit. A lot of these jobs, man, the Lord got us in certain positions where you know, we got to be content with what the Lord's given us, because the jobs that people have, it's destroying them, man. They can't serve the Lord. You know, they have to. I can't imagine what he has other people doing there. You know, they trimming their ways to seek love. They trying to climb up the corporate ladder, and the Lord don't got a lot of us in that. You know, and if the brothers who are in that, man, may the Lord be with you to strengthen you, because that's a battle. It's definitely a battle, man. I was there. It was hard to escape, but the Lord, he found a way to get me up out of there, and serve him even more. So, yeah, I got to thank the Lord for that. If I was still working for them, I can't go as hard as I've been going, being under the vibration of these damn devils. It's too much. You got to choose one or the other. I'm glad the Lord created a path for me to just do everything I need to do and still serve diligently. It's an amazing thing. I hope the Lord just keeps the spirit on me and don't allow me to go back being like these damn reprobates out here protesting for regime change in a foreign country. Meanwhile, their country got all types of demons on it, and they ain't got nothing to say about that. And they asking the demons for help to go do this same shit that's happening over here to some other people. Okay? They're out of their damn minds. Yeah, and don't get me wrong, they're probably wicked too, but they're not gonna be as wicked as the dude they trying to set up. Because eventually he gonna try to kill you and claim to be you. He'll destroy all of you and then set up cities in his image over there. Revelation 14:19, and the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, which are his elect, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. Going into Isaiah, the 63rd chapter. Who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? That's talking about the Lord coming over here to America to trample you Edomites. Not just them, but all you grapes. There's another grape, which is the grapes that are gonna get crushed, which are you damn heathen. You gonna be in the wine press, and the wine press was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the wine press even unto the horses' bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. So That's a lot of blood. It's symbolic just of a lot of blood. Just like when you read Isaiah the 63rd chapter, it's all symbolic of how much destruction is coming to Babylon the Great. Isaiah 63:1, who is this that cometh from Edom with dyed garments from Basra? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. And that's just what we were going to in Revelation 14th chapter, talking about our Lord Yahweh Shai, who's coming to save the elect of Israel and is coming to put to death you damn heathen. Jeremiah. I always get this wrong. I think it's 4. Jeremiah 4. Yep, Jeremiah 4 verse 7. The lion has come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. He is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate, and thy cities shall be laid waste without an inhabitant. Now it's talking about our Lord Yahweh Shai. Isaiah 63:2. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat, just like it tells you in Revelation the 14th chapter about putting you in the wine press. This is why the Lord's metaphorically speaking about the destruction that he's going to bring upon Babylon the Great. I have trodden the wine press alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment, which is ours clothes. He said he's going to stain it all by stomping you damn grapes. Boom, boom, just stomping you out. Metaphorically speaking, he's not going to be jumping out the chariot and crushing, stepping on you like Godzilla. He's going to be in his chariot just putting you to death. Just like it shows you in the Fortnite series. You see that laser beam, that's biblical right there, man. I mean, y'all don't know it, but it is. What else does it say? The dark harvester shoots back at any player who shoots at it, and that's you can't make this shit up, man. It's just hilarious to me, man. 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, and it came. Let me finish Isaiah 63. For the day of vengeance is my heart, in the year of my redeemed is come. Going into the Jubilee. Okay, the year of my redeemed is come. Okay, the day of vengeance is in his heart, which is his mind. Through the Spirit, it's only been 2 days since he's gone. So imagine you got put to death 2 days ago, and now you're resurrected, and you got the power of the living power that you want to unleash upon the heathen. And this is how you know the Most High is more angry than Yahweh Shai. He's more angry than him. Okay, because, through the Spirit, the Lord is ready to go. But our Lord, the Most High, is like, nah, he got a little bit more to do. So everything that's happened, all this Epstein shit, this wouldn't have been able to be fulfilled. Second Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, he needs to be revealed. Okay? But you see how dumb heathen are. They're so damn stupid, man. It's remarkable. It constantly makes me reference the movie Idiocracy. It's like, it's really that bad. We are living in that time, man. Okay? I'm not even somebody that's like super well versed in the scriptures. I'm fucking nothing, but the little that the Lord has showed me is like, it makes you feel like you're way far beyond the heathen. And it's not to get proud, it's just that you are. If you understand the scriptures, you are. Who said healthy understanding of the Bible is better than a college degree? Who said this? That was a quote I'm looking for. A quote, a thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education, is attributed to Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, as a Harvard and Columbia Law School graduate, Roosevelt emphasized that understanding the Bible provides greater value, wisdom, and understanding of life than formal higher education. So most of the people, they bank on their formal higher education. But when you actually achieve the knowledge of the Lord, it's far beyond that. It's far beyond any history major, any science major, any English degree. It's just far beyond that. Because then you know the future, you know the past, you know the present, and you just walking in righteousness. It's just beautiful. I mean, to the best of your ability. I ain't saying I'm righteous. I'm just saying that. But it kind of it angers you a little bit too, because not everyone can get it. Imagine sitting in a class with a bunch of like special needs students. That's what it feels like once you obtain the truth. Like you just talking to some dummies, man. You go into the same precept over and over. They ask the same questions over and over. You done explained it multiple times. And then it's even worse because your people are even worse than the damn heathen. The heathen are somewhat smart, you know? But then when you're talking with Jake, they're like, when I say they're somewhat smart, they might not agree with you, but they still somewhat a little bit like, oh, okay, it does say, I didn't know it said that, you know? They'll acknowledge that, oh, okay, maybe I need to do some more studying. But Jake, he won't see the importance of it. He won't, it'll go right over his head. Isaiah 63:5, and I looked and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. So the Lord's going to be angry enough to destroy all y'all. You would think, you know, you put some people to death, you'd be like, you'll repent of it. All right, I'm appeased. You know, that's how the Lord is appeased, through the judgments that he executes. But this judgment, he ain't going to be appeased with just one state. You know, Sodom and Gomorrah couldn't have been that big. I doubt it was as big as Texas, okay, or Chicago. But the Lord's going to bring that type of destruction to a whole all 50 states, even more than that. Even more than that, man. And I will tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. And what's his strength? His military. Esau's military. These different heathen, the ability to fight, you're going to take that down. 2 Edges 13:1, and it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven, and when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. So that's the chariots entering his space with the rest of it. He gonna unleash the whole host of heaven. Okay. And the Lord is going to be, and he's going to be in the biggest ship you've ever seen in your life, man. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burnt that heard his voice, like as the earth faileth when it faileth the fire. And that's what this is showing. That's his voice putting something to death. And that's what's coming too. That's part of it. Did I finish this? The Dark Harvester shoots back at any player who shoots at it, and its range covers the entire map. So that's what I'm talking about, man. I know it sounds silly, you know, but Esau don't put it in, you know, he's putting it in this season because we're getting close to the harvest, man. He's calling him the Dark Harvester. Come on, man. Come on. He'll put it in something like that to make it seem like it's funny, it's foolishness. This is a serious thing, man. Okay. 2 Edges 13, verse number 6. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. Now, this ain't doing any justice. That's not a great mountain. You know, this thing's going to cover the whole sky. Okay. But the laser beam chariot, calling it the Dark Harvester, is he's just throwing it right in your face. He's getting you prepared to be slaughtered. Okay. Can't say you didn't know. At least your kids gonna know about the Dark Harvester. They're gonna be playing with it, shooting at it. That he wants to get you prepared for it. It shoots back at you. It shoots a laser beam at you, because y'all gonna be going to war. Y'all gonna be going to war with the Lord, and this is what I'm getting into. Second Edges 13 and 17. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So he's saying, Edris is telling you how big it was. He couldn't even see where it began or where it ended. It was massive. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, which are you different heathen nations, you militaries, were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. So you're going to try to attack the Lord. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. So this shows you that Isaiah 63, Revelation 14 isn't, it's metaphorical. Okay, he's not lifting up his hand. He's not holding a sword or any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, which is that laser beam, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests, which is pretty much going into the laser beam. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, the great tempest, which is the thermonuclear destruction, and fell with violence upon the multitude. Like it tells you in Revelation, the 18th chapter. Revelation 18. And 21. And a mighty angel took up a stone like a great millstone, and cast it into the sea, saying, thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. Okay, you can still find Babylon, which is ancient Iraq, I believe. Where is ancient Babylon located? Iraq. Okay. It says ancient Babylon was located in first Mesopotamia on the Euphrates River in modern day Iraq. Okay. So this is why when it says Babylon, this was already fulfilled. That's Esau lying to you. Okay, and Christians see that, they read that, and they stop right there, and it's because this is a stumbling block. They're not supposed to go past that. They're supposed to say, yeah, see, Babylon it's already been destroyed by fire. You know? Yeah, the Lord already trampled them, and he already came from Basra. In Revelation 14, it's still sealed. No one knows nothing. Yeah, everything is done. We're just waiting for the Lord to beam us up for 7 years, which doesn't say in the scripture about a rapture, and just dummies. Straight goofballs. And fell with the violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight. See, y'all were prepared to fight. Just like the Dark Harvester, he gonna shoot back at you and burnt them up, every one. So you're gonna get burned up, just like this little air balloon thing over here. Get burnt up like that, right? So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So there you go. Nothing but dust and smell of smoke, because that's what the laser beam gonna turn you into, dust, powder. Okay. So you're not gonna want to fight, but Lord gonna make you fight. All right. Okay. What else I got? Epstein files fallout takes down elite figures in Europe while U.S. reckoning is muted. That's right. They just lost somebody in Norway. Just got arrested. I think he's the first person to get arrested in Norway on the Epstein file. This dude. See, here's this dude. Norway's former prime minister charged with gross corruption over Epstein links. Former Norwegian PM Thorbjørn Jagland has been charged with gross corruption over his ties with U.S. sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, police have said. The charge was brought after the Council of Europe lifted Jaglin's immunity, which he enjoyed because of his past diplomatic role. He denies criminal liability and is willing to cooperate, his lawyer says. Emails released by the U.S. government are thought to show that Jaglin planned a solo and family visits to Epstein's homes in Paris, New York, and Palm Beach after the billionaire was convicted of a child sex offense, just like Lutnick. Just like Lutnick. And where's his charges at? No charges at all. So the Lord is working, man. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai. Get all these sex offenders. 3. And he sent his family there too after, because Epstein got locked up or charged in 2008. It says 3 of Jaglin's properties were searched by Norwegian crime unit, and he is now expected to be questioned, as well as serving as prime minister from 96 to 97. Jaglin is also a former head of Norwegian Nobel Committee and spent a decade as Secretary General of the Council of Europe. So these people are disgusting. But Europe was a little more, honestly, they're not like you American Edomites. They might be a little more, they might have a little more shame than you. But you American Edomites, you no shame. You still making, you thought that the monkey shit with Barack Obama, you thought that shit was funny. So that shows you the state of these people. These people thought it was funny. They're sharing it. Everything's ha ha, black guy being a monkey, ha ha ha. So, that's here in America. You're more of a child than your other Edomite counterparts. But don't worry, the Lord's gonna, like it said in Ezekiel 25th chapter, He's gonna allow the nation of Israel to whip your ass. Whoopsh, whoopsh, whoopsh. Be busting your ass with a bullwhip. Okay. O'Krent requested the council revoke his immunity after it launched an investigation earlier this month into allegations of gross corruption made against him between 2011 and 2018. Oh, he had a long run. People who sell drugs don't even get to have a run like that. 7-year being a demon with immunity. Disgusting. The so-called Epstein files appear to show instances where the late financier covered the travel expenses to his priorities for Jaglin and his families. Yeah, I'll pay for you and your family to come over here. Yeah, we can have some cheesecake. Lutnick's here. Yep. You heard of Duck? Yeah, Duck's here too. Yep. I got Chris Tucker. Everybody you like, they all here. Jay-Z, he's performing tonight. Yeah, bring your family. The former leader had planned a family trip to Epstein's private Caribbean island in 2014, but it was ultimately canceled after Epstein fell ill. Jaglin also faces allegations that he solicited Epstein's help in obtaining a bank loan in another exchange, although it is not clear whether this materialized. According to Norwegian broadcaster NRK, police have not confirmed whether this allegation is part of the gross corruption charge. What the hell is gross corruption, though? Mentioned in the Epstein files, which have been released by the U.S. Department of Justice, does not indicate any wrongdoing. Of course they don't. The U.S. Department of Justice does not indicate any wrongdoing because they redact everything. They're full of shit. You saw what happened with Pam Bondi, man. So it's the U.S. that's protecting all this shit, man. And this is good because they're going to see why they need to burn this whore with fire. The former leader had planned a family trip. I read that. Mentioned in the Epstein files, they said there was no wrongdoing. Jaglin was seen walking out of his home alongside his lawyer, and also on Thursday, one of the properties alongside two in Riser and Rawlin and O'Krent confirmed had searched. Long story short, I'm not going to read it all, but he's being investigated. He's been charged. None of that's happening here in Babylon. Okay, Epstein files fallout takes down elite figures in Europe while U.S. reckoning is muted. That's right. Where's the reckoning at? Peter Mandelson was fired last year from his position as Britain's ambassador to the U.S. and resigned. This is a whole different person. Keir Starmer has been talking about him. He's like ashamed that he even hired him. I don't think Keir Starmer is on the list. Is Keir Starmer on the Jeffrey Epstein list? Based on recent reports, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is not listed as having direct ties to Jeffrey Epstein in the released document. So that's good. That's good, man. It's good to hear. See, so not everyone in power is going to be on that list, man. Some people got integrity. Not everyone's an Edomite, too. Some of these people, you'd be surprised. I ain't saying Keir Starmer's a Jake, but we don't know shit. Who knows? He talking to China. He trying to help the people out. He might be genuine and sincere. Not everyone is, though. The contrast is striking in Europe. Some people whose names come up in the Epstein files are facing consequences, but in the U.S., not so much, man. Because look at the people here. These people are they're demonic. Full-blown demons, man. They won't even use their mouth to say anything righteous. They're disgusting. They're scum of the earth. European royals, government officials, politicians, and others are losing jobs and titles over their connection. I know, look at so-called Prince Andrew. He's losing all of his titles. But over here, nothing. You got protests talking about change the regime in a different country, just completely ignoring the fact, what about your regime? So these people, when it's time, where's ICE? So when Duck want to send ICE and all of that, hey, do it. That's what they get. This is why you shouldn't be mad about these things, man. Let the Lord work. And look what the Lord did. He removed ICE out of Minnesota, and then just to show you why they need their asses kicked, why they need to be destroyed. Okay? It says European law enforcement agencies are opening investigations based on recent troves of documents released by the U.S. government. So they're looking at this stuff, and they're acting on it. But not the whore. Prominent Americans with apparent ties to Jeffrey Epstein, including President Duck and Commerce Secretary Lutnick, have so far largely kept their positions of power, right? Because look what the people are complaining about. They got global uproars, even in Canada. They're not saying anything. Fucking stupid asses. Some of them want to be part of the 51st state. So these Edomites are out of their damn minds. They're demons. And the Lord is revealing who the wicked is. Okay? The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. Who's the head of NATO? First of all, let's start with the whore. Who's the head of the whore right now? The face of it? The duck. Okay, but it looks like he being controlled by Israel. So that shows you the head of the woman right there. Then you got the duck. Then you got the beast. You got Mark Rutte. Then you got the European nations. All of them Edomites is the point that I'm trying to make here. Okay, they got military bases all over the place. Then you look at Russia. I don't know if he's an Edomite. Apostle, I did a video on that. He might be a Jake. The more you start to look at Putin, man, you might be surprised, man. He be walking with too much swag, man. It's like, why he walking with so much swag? I don't get it. He kind of walk with a limp. Esau don't walk like that. He don't walk like that, man. Putin, I don't think Putin's on that list, and he be, every now he let off the Russian icons. I don't know, but I think there is some ties to him. I forgot what the elder said in that video, but I think he's saying he got ties to, like, he could be a Jake, as a matter of fact. Let me see if I can look at anything. Is Vladimir Putin black? Of course it says no. Slavic descent with his family background rooted in Russian. I forgot what he saw. 'Cause 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 I for Laura saying something about him. No, he is a black man. Who's saying that? I forgot he appears to be Caucasian, probably gets whiter in the winter. He was Russian. Russians were recognized to be subgroup of white race, so yes, Putin is white. This is funny. Yeah, but Jake used to run Russia too. No, Vladimir Putin is Russian, or as they commonly refer to as East Slavic. They would be called Eurasian, since their home country of Russian occupies Asia and European locations. I forgot what I'm talking about, but I forgot who in his family. When you go down the line, it goes to someone that could possibly be a Jake. So, and he probably knows it too. He probably knows. He knows about the Russian icons and things like that. He probably would want to know if he's the Lord's children or not. You know, that's just what I think. Okay. But don't quote me on that. So clearly, I want to read a little bit more of this. Epstein also associated the Democratic politician and academics, including former President Bill Clinton, who I don't know if he testified yet or what's up with Bill Clinton. Let's find out. What's up with this nigga, man? What's going on with Bill Clinton testifying? Former President Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton have agreed to testify before the House Oversight Committee in late February 2026 regarding their ties to Jeffrey Epstein, avoiding potential contempt of Congress charges. Bill Clinton is scheduled to testify on February 27, 2026 for a closed-door deposition. Okay, now it's closed door. I did not... What did he say about... what's that girl's name? Monica Lewinsky. I did not have sexual relations with that lady or something like that. You probably gonna say the same shit. You're lying, motherfucker. You were getting head in the Oval Office. Stop lying. While appearing in the Epstein files is not necessarily proof of wrongdoing, for Europeans, it's been very humiliating to see their rich and famous hobnobbing. What does this mean? Hobnobbing. Mixed socially, especially with those of higher social status. Associate. Hobnobbing mean in slang. Yeah, give me the Urban Dictionary for it. Oh, I can't click on it. Esau's fucking with me. Anyways, with Epstein, a fake American billionaire and convicted sex trafficker of minors, said Richard Dick Painter. Nigga's name is Dick Painter. Oh, man. Nigga's name is Dick Painter, a professor at the University of Minnesota Law School. Oh, man. What kind of parents would name you that, though? Dick used to be popular, though. That used to be a popular name. I'm just playing, but it's just the last name's pieces of shit. Your mother and father just two pieces of shit to name you that. Law school, who served as the chief ethics lawyer to President George W. Dick Painter was the chief ethics lawyer for George W. Bush. But in the U.S., Painter says the connection between money and politics can shield some of those named in the files. You've got all this massive amount of money in politics, so the billionaire class is definitely going to want to be protected, he said. Well, we know who's in the billionaire class. It's Amalek. Nigga runs the bank system. Like, come on, man. Amalek, you ain't that smart, man. You're a dummy. This is why wisdom from the Lord shows you that these people, that they ain't as wise as they got all the institutions. Nigga runs your curriculum. You got to throw all that shit in the trash, man. Okay? You got to throw it all in the trash. Neither the White House nor the Department of Commerce have responded to a question for comment. Of course, they're not going to respond to a question for comment. Anyways, Turns out the U.S. economy didn't create 500,000 jobs last year. It was just 181,000. Oh, I can't even read it. Oh, you can read it. That's all I needed to know. Let me grab this in the book of Isaiah 19 and 15. I don't even need it. We know you're lying about the economy. You lied about the economy right before Pam Bondi went to go get grilled by the whoever that was talking to her. By the I don't know who, the Congress or whatever. She said, "Look at the economy." Then you look in the I was looking up the stock market that day. They said, yeah, for some reason, 150,000 jobs were reported this month. Like, get the hell out of here. That's them manipulating the stock market. Because all they got to do is say some shit. Oh yeah, there's a positive job market. Then the stock market jumps up. Then they go do what they have to do, and then right after she's done, the stock market goes back down because it was all bullshit. They found out it was all lies. So that's how frail your economy is on, man. One day you lose all this money. If you take your money out, you're screwed. Okay? Just leave it in there. Buy the dip. But eventually just know you can't trust it. It's all gonna crash. Okay? But it tells you where your treasure is, there where your heart will be also. You know, so people trust in their economy, the riches of this world, man. The riches because they're ultimately trust in mammon. That's a demon. Okay, you gotta know you don't have shit here, man. Isaiah 19 and 15 in the KJV. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So, from top to bottom, CEO to the damn janitor in the bathroom, ain't gonna be no job for him either. This phrase indicates a state of helplessness and futility. Historically, Egypt was a powerful nation known for its military strength and cultural influence. And we're just talking about America according to Revelation 11 and 8. However, this prophecy suggests a time when Egypt's power and wisdom would be rendered ineffective. And that's what you're starting to see with America now. That power and wisdom is rendered ineffective. This aligns with the broader biblical theme of God's sovereignty over nations. Because no matter how smart you are, you gotta eventually you're gonna hit a wall or ceiling, and in order to bypass that ceiling, you gotta blow somebody's rod. Okay, you gotta sit on a couch, casting couch. You gotta do something strange for some change. You gotta drink goat's blood. You have to have sex with a goat. You have to kill your mother, your father, a close relative, a friend, to make it in this world. Nobody wants to do that to be successful. Just the people who don't have any integrity are the people that you find being exalted. Some of them are sniffing coke off toilet seats like RFK, and then they get put in positions of your health because he don't care about germs. You know, so people like that, that's because they don't have any integrity. As seen in other scriptures like Isaiah 40 and 15, where nations are described as a drop in a bucket before God. The phrase underscores the idea that human strength and wisdom are ultimately powerless without divine support. That's right, you a drop in a bucket. You heathen, man, to the Lord. Head or tail, the terms head and tail symbolize the entirety of a nation from its leader's head to its common people tail. This imagery is used elsewhere in scripture, such as in Deuteronomy 28 and 13, where Israel is promised to be the head and not the tail if they obey God. In this context, it emphasizes that no part of Egyptian society, whether the ruling class or the general populace, will be able to avert the judgment pronounced by God. It reflects a complete and total inability to respond effectively to the impending crisis, right? You know, so the things that you have right now, it ain't gonna help you. If you ain't a man of the Lord, which you heathen are not, that money might be able to help you for a certain time, but then you're gonna die. The food that you stored up might help you for a little, maybe a week or two or whatever, but it's gonna go to the elect. Okay, so you storing up riches for us. You have fun with that. Palm or reed, which is branch or rush, further illustrates the comprehensive nature of Egypt's impotence. The palm tree, often associated with strength and victory, contrasts with the reed, which is fragile and easily swayed. This juxtaposition highlights that both strong and weak elements of Egyptian society will be equally ineffective. The imagery of the reed is reminiscent of Isaiah 36 and 6, where Egypt is described as a broken reed or of a staff, unreliable and unable to support those who lean on it. This serves as a metaphor for the futility of relying on human power and wisdom instead of trusting in God. That's right. That reed is going into your stability. Okay. So nothing's gonna stabilize you. Okay, it tells you in the book of Isaiah 33 and 6. This is too much for you heathen though. Even if you tell them, they know it's written, they ain't gonna believe. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. You people don't fear the Lord. Okay, so the fear of the Lord is his treasure. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 1, verse 14. To fear the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and it was created with the faithful in the womb. So the faithful are the elect of Israel. It was created with the faithful in the womb. Okay, so we had this from the beginning. Wisdom of Solomon 7, verse 28. For God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So he don't love you because he ain't give you this wisdom. Very simple. Okay. You hobnobbers. Russia killed opposition leader Alexei Navalny using dark fog toxin, UK says. Putin will put you to death, man. He'll put some shit on your doorknob, you touch it, next thing you know, you got symptoms, you got a fever, and if you don't, I forgot what the cure was, but you'll like start shaking to death and die, man. Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was killed using a poison developed from a dart frog toxin, the UK and European allies have said. Now, this was the Russian opposition leader that U.S. was supporting to run up against Vladimir Putin. Putin put his ass to death 2 years on from the death of Navalny at a Siberian penal colony. Britain and its allies have blamed the Kremlin following analysis of material samples found on his body. And it shows you the difference between the East and the West. The West, they want to frame you. They want to see you doing something and then use it as blackmail you. On the East, they'll put you to death. Okay? Speaking from the Munich Security Conference, Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper said only the Russian government had the means, motive, and opportunity to use the poison while Navalny was imprisoned in Russia. According to TASS news agency, Moscow has dismissed the finding as an information campaign, but Cooper said there is no explanation for the toxin called epibactidine being found. So that's the thing. Russia has ways of putting you to death without you even, they can't even figure out how you died, which is crazy. No signs of any trauma, no poisons, nothing that's coming up in your blood samples, nothing in your urine, no marks, nothing. They be scanning your bodies for days and still won't know how they put you to death. Impossible. They figured out ways this. Well, they'll just call it a natural causes. Okay, they probably hold down all your pressure points, figure out a way to put you in some type of magnet where it just brings all the iron in your body. I don't know, something crazy, man. I can't imagine. Russian, it says Cooper met with Navalny widow Yulia Navalnaya at the conference this weekend. Russia saw Navalny as a threat, Cooper said at the event. By using this form of poison, the Russian state demonstrated the despicable tools it has at its disposal and the overwhelming fear it has of political opposition, she added. And pretty much, it is what it is. This dude right here was, let me read it. Yatslav, Russian man, breaks silence amid outrage over recorded escapades with Ghanaian women. This nigga was going around with these glasses. He can record. He going around and Ghana, meeting all these black women, having sex with them, loading it up on the internet, and people were watching it. And now he's being charged. It says the viral Russian man has cleared the air amid outrage over his infamous videos with several Ghanaian women. It shows you, you damn black women, man. You full of shit. You quick to give it up to some dude. Why? Because he's an Edomite. So it just shows you the mindset. They were doing all types of shit on these videos. And he was recording you, and he exposed your ass for being a bunch of they were all ears. You can watch them online. They were all smiling and shit, happy to be with him and shit. And that's what you get. Get him, the Lord used him to expose your ass. That's what you get. An alleged telegram message showed the Russian man speaking about his experience dealing with the woman in Africa. Yatslav also sent a message to his fellow foreigners who have watched his controversial videos trending on social media. And he was like, look at these bitches, man. Super easy. Yatslav trial, and they probably had relationships too. Those Africans will put you women to death out there. Who claims to be a Russian has gone viral online after clips of his dealings with some Ghanaian women surfaced online on Thursday, February 12, 2026. Many of the controversial videos showed him moving around the Accra Mall area, interacting with female shoppers and other passerby he encountered on the streets. He would later invite them to his apartment and record their conversations and escapades with his meta glasses to share online, reportedly without their permission, because they're stupid. They need to be exposed. Okay? Don't trust these bitches, man. They ain't shit. Isaiah 32:9, rise up, ye women that are at ease, hear my voice, ye careless daughters, give ear unto my speech. And you wonder why they get chopped up. Esau, he can go get some human meat just from these black women. He gonna get a lot of them in these last days. He gonna rail them in. You gonna think they gonna help you. And they gonna eat you. Because you're stupid. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail and the gathering shall not come. So you think, the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. This is going to be a complete collapse of society. Tremble, ye women that are at ease, be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you, make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. So you should be in a state of mourning, trying to get back right with the Lord, which is through your man. Okay, but you going for the devil. Now, I'm not saying he's a devil. He could be a Jake. But it's the mindset of you women that the reason why he was able to get. He probably was on there for a couple of days. He probably ran through you, went to another Jake, same thing. It's all the same thing because, first of all, your whole mindset is warped and screwed. You don't have any wisdom. Okay, they shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine, which is government assistance. EBT, all that shit. Ain't gonna be any of that. You're gonna need a man of the Lord. All right, and if you don't have that, you're gonna die. Job 33, Job 39, Salakia. Job 39 and 17. Because God have deprived her of wisdom, neither have he imparted to her understanding. That's why you can be deceived like that by some dude with some meta glasses on and some pale skin. You probably thinking about having some light skinned babies. Nope, he just wanted to upload you to the internet and get paid off your stupidity. Duck fought the hardest to stop the release of Epstein files. Former ally MTG, which is, I forgot her name, MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Elon Musk alleged Duck's involvement in stalling the Epstein files release. Look at Musk, you on the damn files too. Daffy Duck. Get the hell out of here. That's why he hired you to come check out the government. You did it. That was your main friend. You spent money on him. You didn't know that you were invested in that? You're full of shit. U.S. President Donald Duck seemed hesitant to release the Epstein files because I heard his name was mentioned like 1 million times. is Donald Trump's name mentioned 1,000,000 times in the Epstein files? News. More than 1,000,000 times in unredacted. Who said this? I gotta read it. More than 1,000,000 times? Come on, man. Come on, man. Did you know that Truth Out? Who is this? Oh, I can still read it. Perfect. We're asking Trump mentioned more than 1,000,000 times in unredacted Epstein files. Oh, that's what he said. I'm not going to read it all. So he fought the hardest according to MTG, and she was on his team, so she would know. U.S. President Donald Duck seemed hesitant, but eventually signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which prompted the Department of Justice to release millions of unsealed documents released to Jeffrey Epstein's case. Several individuals, including Elon Musk, Daffy Duck, claimed that the president wanted to stop the release because he was among those mentioned in the files. Of course, why else would you want to do it? Come on, does this look like the face of a person that would grab somebody by the pussy? Come on. Another former ally shared a similar claim. According to MTG, a former Georgia representative, Duck did his best to prevent the release of the files, of course. Of course, man. Anything else? U.S. strike Syria already did that. Massive crack gathers in Iranian global day. That's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. All right, I'm ending here. Lord's will, this was edifying. Shalom.